data, sending data, sending data. All right, X is up, holders only is up. YouTube is still loading. While that's going on, we're gonna go ahead and share this
Oh,
around.
got it. So with the X, you have holders only. Is it being broadcasted to holders only?
So right now as we speak, we're broadcasting to YouTube, holders only, and X.
Okay, okay. So X is basically for everyone.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I thought
Uh,
X for holders only.
just a sec, just a sec.
Okay.
Just a
All
sec.
right.
I'm just sharing things here. Uh,
Dollar. Perfect. Perfection. Perfections.
Alrighty, IT. You know what? I'm gonna stay off the session a little bit and multitask, just like yesterday. Trying to push some things through on the code. But yeah, I've got the LLM running as well, capturing the data. So go ahead, do your thing.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Uh, Let me put on some disco dance.
Nice.
How does it sound like?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, cool, cool. Okay, welcome guys to another session. I hope you're doing well. Um, right, so starting with the dollar index, perfect price action. Uh, and I always say anytime I see stuff like this, it's like you're with your the best woman in the world as a man. And if you're a woman, maybe I don't know, you've got the best gift ever because women love gifts. But we had that big run up on Monday, and I said once we close below this 108.56 level, then they will make a run for the 106.96 level. And I think we are pretty much on course for that right now. If you go back to the monthly time frame, it would it'll be more in a way understandable because on the lower time frame you might not understand why it's doing what it's doing, but on the higher time frame you will, and that's because of the nature of how fractal price is, right? In such a way, in simple terms, if a high is taken, a low is highly probable to be taken. What I mean by is if they go above the high and it does not close above it and it rejects, then the low of that high, okay, this one here, it's 70% to 80% probable that they're going to run that low. Okay. So if you keep that in mind and you understand the nature of fractals, what do I mean by fractals? Let's learn just something today quickly. Let me see if I can find that image. Bring it up. Give me 1 second, guys. I usually have that on my Telegram, not on my Telegram. I usually have that on my Discord. I have it on my Discord, but I'll have to go to Discord to get it out. Let me see if I can find similar. Okay. I just borrowed this image from Google to show it what I mean by fractal. Okay. So if you look at this image that I'm currently showing on the screen, okay, ignore. There you go. If you look at the image I'm showing on the screen, right, you can see that there's a big picture. Okay, that big picture is that big square. So it's this one here, this big one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 small little squares around it, right? That is the big picture. Okay. Now, that same picture is replicated on this square that you see. So when you take every square, you will have 8 squares around it. So the big one is the one that you can obviously see, then followed by this one, right? So this will be picture number 1. This will be picture number 2. This small one here has also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares around it. Right, so it's the same big picture, but on a smaller version. If you take the smaller one, which is picture number 3 or square number 3, it will also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares around it. This is what we mean by fractal. It's fractal in nature, that whatever the big picture is showing is the same thing as the small one. And you can go as deep as the smallest one, right? Even the smallest tiny little one will also have basically 8 squares around it. Okay. So when I say something is fractal, that's what I mean. The big picture is the same thing, or it can be replicated to the smaller picture. And that's what price does. That's why the pattern that I've been sharing with you for the last 1 month and maybe 4 days, that's why you can find it on every time frame, right? From the highest time frame to the lowest time frame. Now, when it comes to trading, there's a little bit difference, and that difference is that the higher time frame controls price. The big time frame controls price. The big picture is what price is actually doing. It's not the small time frame. So you always want to understand what the big picture is doing. And then you can drop down to the lower time frame and then piece all the smaller pieces together to flow with the big picture. So the fact that price is fractal means that if price forms this pattern on a high time frame, and it's a sign that price is going up. The same thing if it forms on the lower time frame, right? It's a sign that price is going up. However, since the higher time frame is in control, that is why sometimes the lower time frames ones will not work. Okay, try and understand this, because the big picture, okay, when it comes to trading, they control price, not the smaller time frame. So on the big picture, we might have something like this, And on the smaller time frame, we might have something like this, right? And on the smaller time frame, this is meant to take price lower. But if the big picture wants to go higher, then this will not work because the big picture is in control. Hence, this will break and then continue going higher. That's the only thing you need to understand when it comes to price action. That if the big picture is in control, whatever works in terms of fractals might not work on the lower time frame because it's going against what the big picture is trying to do. So you basically will look for the same thing, but a pattern that is going up rather than going down. Right? So hopefully you understand what I mean here. If you don't, reverse it, makes sense. Let's go back to the beginning of the session and it makes sense. So the reason why dollar index is dropping is not because the lower time frame is dropping. It's because on the monthly time frame, there was a run above a previous month high and the month closed like this. And because of that, the next candle that is going to print is highly probable that it's going to take out the low, not the high, the low. Had price gone above the high, then it will be the pattern that I shared the last time, that it needs to reject immediately. And it will only reject or it will only go beyond the high if there was no fair value gap in here. Luckily enough, there was one and then price rejected. So the confirmation that price was going to go lower, I could have told you it was going to go down from here, but I need to show you step by step that this would be the first step in terms of confirmation that price is going lower. And since then, we've seen price driving down. Okay. Now, once we go below that low, it will depend on how price will stay below it. Does it reject immediately or do they stay below? Because if they stay below and the month closes and we are still below the previous month low, then we have a big room for price to retrace because that will give us a breakout structure with a confirmation that price is pulling back. Hence, we can pull our fib and do something like this, and then expect price to come to first 50% because that will give us a range or a dealing range, and we will expect price to trade to 50%. And that will be very, very, very awesome because now we have not just price confirming that we are going lower, but we will also have what we call a quarterly shift, right? A quarterly shift means that for the next 3 months, we will have more downside than upside. So anytime price is pulling back, we want to anticipate price going back down. Anytime price is pulling back, we will anticipate price going back down. Okay. So let's see within between today and Friday, which is NFP, if we are not down here, then they'll take NFP to attack this low. Okay, so this will give you, a high probability direction for NFP. So today is Wednesday. If we are not here by Friday, then Friday, you know what they're going to do with NFP. If you see it going up, then it's just manipulation. They're going to take it up and then send it back down to attack this low. Because based on the high time frame, that's exactly where we need to go. Right? And we are leaving gaps on the upsides, which is a huge, huge confirmation that price is going lower. So with that, I think yesterday, let's start with Euro as usual. I didn't want you to buy Euro because we were still below the gap, but going forward, I think they've gone above it. So we can start looking for buys to continue going higher on Euro. You'll be expecting 1.0533 as an upside objective. Maybe just be a little bit mindful when it comes to this level, 1.04799. Just be aware of that level because we do have a gap over here, and then at that gap over there. That will cause a little bit of a resistance. So just be mindful of that. Apart from that, if they can close above that level, then it will run for that previous week. The one that I liked is British pound, right? And the reason why I liked it is because of Euro pound. Since Euro pound is dropping, we want to see um, pound rather go higher. Euro will go up, but not as much as what the pound will do. Okay, so I think British pound, we will aim for that up candle. Oh, sorry, this week again. That will be the next upside objective. That comes in at 1.25769. That's the upside objective going forward. See that. Right? So that's your next upside objective for the British pound. Basically, look for, I think yesterday entry was great. That was my entry right here with my stop below there. And then I've taken partial. I'm expecting them to continue going up for that. So you can also look for an entry going into maybe this New York session. You're already in New York, any pullback. Let me see if there's any decent level that price can pull back to for a buy. Um, Now, let me show you another example of a fair value gap that we talked about yesterday. Right, this is a fair value gap that formed within that purple area, right? We spoke about that yesterday. When gaps form within this time, then it's a very, very good gap to use. Drop down to the 15 minutes. I don't see any gap left on the hourly, so maybe a down candle forming on the 1 hour and then the closing back above it will be the best. Now, the time that I shared, it's not just gaps. If we do form order blocks, not any order block, but the ones that I've thought over here up till now, if they do form any down candle prior to the move up during that time, for example, like this, if they form something like this during the time window, that would be a very powerful one. Okay, so if they form a down candle and they close above it, then you're good to go. So here, if they form a down candle here, we've got about 41 minutes to go. If they form a down candle there and they close back above it, then you can use it to target the high over here. Right? So just keep an eye on this. If they close within the next 41 minutes, it's a down candle, and then they go back above it, then you can use, because then it will still create it within this time window, and you can use it to basically handful the run above the high. Unless Trump comes in and says something that he's not meant to say, that's when maybe that might not be the case. But hopefully, his phone is far away from him today. All right. The Australian dollar, I think that was another good one. Said to buy Sorry guys, for some reason I had a small little break of connection. I've not had that in a while. Hopefully not.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to figure out what was going on. I'm like looking through all the everything basically. Let me just confirm if, before we restart that we're still going. Uh, yeah, it looks like we're okay.
Yeah.
Let me one sec. Yep, yep, we're still live. Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, my network, I don't know, I need to sort out something on that because it's not good. You don't want to have that. Anyway, so this gap here, that's a good one. So watch that for Australian dollar. I think it will aim for previous week high and potentially even this one. Now, the Aussie is a good one to watch out for because if it's actually gone all the way back down to clean out the previous month low. So we've had two runs on lows. Let me go to the monthly so you can see that. The first one being January, taking out um, December's low, right? And that will create that pattern that I shared with you, right? That lower low. We're not supposed to come there. If we do, we should reject immediately. So with the rejection that we're getting right now, um, it's gonna break the market structure. Okay, it's gonna break this high. So we can look for trade ideas to go all the way up there. And with that comes with a huge um, strength in our Aussie because a run on lows always brings in liquidity, right? It grabs, it becomes like a springboard. Okay, so there's more momentum once we take out a low. And the fact that we've printed only up candles since then, right? And today we are leaving the first gap right here. So that would be a breakaway gap. We don't want them to come back below it right here. As a breakaway gap. Let them leave that. And then tomorrow, the same thing. Tomorrow should also leave this one. And then we will break this high aggressively, right? Now, what I am personally anticipating is some strength to come in the Aussie. So Euro Aussie, I've been selling it since using the same thing that I just shared with you on the same thing I've just shared with you on the dollar index, right? The fact that we run it high first, yeah, that was a run above that high. So this week we were meant to basically, from the opening, we were meant to open somewhere here because we closed there. We were meant to open somewhere here and then run for this low. Okay, let me do it on this side so you understand exactly what I mean. So this is where we closed for the week. This is exactly where it closed right here on Friday. By the time you leave with me, you would have turned into an algorithm. This is the closing price. Okay. So once we closed, look over here. The whole week, that previous week, the low is there, the high is here. The previous week high came in at this level. So we ended up the week closing below the previous week high here. So that's the previous week high, and this is where we close. So based on that, this week, we're supposed to take out this low. So when the market opened, We were meant to open somewhere here and then make a run for this low. Okay. When we opened, we gapped down and then we left this creating equal low. And then we went and ran for the high. Okay. We ran for the high. So that again gives you a high and a higher high, high resistance. There was no fair value gap in here. That's why price went for the high. And immediately price should reject. Now, when price was rejecting, if you understand, as soon as we close through the first gap, I think I've said this as well. As soon as we go through this one, right? It means price is gonna go lower. As soon as we close through that, price is gonna go lower. And then I basically sold short during the, I think, London session here, this candle, because it also closed through this gap as well during London session. And then selling short, targeting this level, and then expecting them to break this. Now, I was bringing it to your attention to explain the same thing that we're doing on the dollar index, but at the same time, give you why there's a high probability they're going to go for these lows. Remember, they've created clean equal lows in here. This low, that low, and then these lows and these lows. There's two clean. All right. So the strength that I'm anticipating, give me a sec quickly. Okay, we'll come back to that. The strength that I'm anticipating, or the push that I'm anticipating to come in on Aussie, the big run that I'm anticipating to come in at Aussie to go and run this, it will reflect on Europe, Euro Aussie as well as a big down candle to go and run for these lows. So where we are now, especially on the H4, this up candle can be where your stock can go, something like this, and then you're gonna be aiming for these lows here, right? These two lows, because they are equal. And then maybe as soon as we go below it, there might be a small rejection, but right there, okay. They're going to run for this. It's a low and a lower low. So you want to take as much as you can in terms of profit from this low and then leave a small portion. Why? Because this high to this low, that is the range that I was expecting them to trade to discount. This high to this low. When we were here, this was a break in structure and this was a pullback. I was expecting them to trade here and then somewhere there before we resume going up. Basically setting a stage for a run up later because it has now created equal highs over here. So I think it's setting the stage for the run back up here, maybe June, around June. I'm not sure, but when we get there, we'll figure it out. So I think they might trade all the way here. Once we go below this low, there's nothing in here apart from that. So if we go below this low, I don't want to see it immediately reject. I will want to see it continue going all the way down to that gap, right? And that will mean for the next maybe 1 month, we'll be expecting lower prices on Australian Euro Aussie. Now, it's between the Euro Aussie and the Euro New Zealand because they're the same in terms of what I'm expecting. This will be the range. I was expecting them to trade here, and they've played around for a long time. Remember, consolidation, that's smart money selling a lot in there. So there might be an aggressive move away between the Euro New Zealand and the Euro Aussie. Now, why am I choosing these two? is because there's weakness in euro pound. So the euro will be under pressure. If for some reason this should reject and start going up, then you will switch to the pound Aussie and the pound New Zealand. But I prefer the euro, the 2 euros, okay, the euro Aussie and the euro New Zealand, because these two, they did trade to discount. So if you look at the range, this low to this high, they did trade to discount. Pound Aussie, same thing, this low to this high, they did trade to discount. So it might not be an aggressive move. Who knows? It might be. I'm not sure, but I'm trying to give you a narrative so that you can use discernment and obviously price action based on the things that you've been getting here, and you can use it to trade both the Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand, Pound Aussie, and Pound New Zealand. But the one that I prefer is the one that I'm giving you, these two, Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand. I might get it wrong, and the Pound Aussie and Pound New Zealand might be the one that will move. So you can look at both all four, and then you will know. Because anytime, and this is how you know, it'll be leaving gaps. Okay, so let's go back to Aussie. Notice how price has been leaving gaps. Yeah, that's the first sign. And then on the daily, the reason why I love this one is it's a volume imbalance. It's an absence of a candle. So that's very, very powerful. It's a big gap. All right. Hence, I'm anticipating this move to continue going lower. So where we are now, right now, right where we are is the best place if you want to sell short. Anything below that, that's not good. And you can protect yourself with this up candle. If you go above it, get it. It might come up here and then you sell short again. If they go above this, forget it and then sell short. But I think this is the high of the week. And I think we should be going up anymore. So expect lower prices. Okay. I think I've given you enough reason, right? I've convinced you enough to sell. uh, anyway, that's what I try to do. I try to give you a reason to be in the charts because you have to have a reason to be in the charts. Without any reason, don't be in there. Another pair that you can start looking is the Aussie card, but I'm expecting a daily close above the previous candle first, because I think all of this is a pullback. So I'm waiting for a daily close above previous candle's high. Then we have the go ahead. I think today might do it, but I want to see it being done before we start looking for the buy. Right? I'd rather wait than be sorry. So don't get in yet. Wait, let them confirm, and then you look for the buy. Same thing applies to the New Zealand card. Okay, I'm expecting it to go up. So I think this is just the pullback. It will go back up. So let them close above previous candles high, and then can start looking for the longs again. Okay. Gold, the low of the week, right? Perfect. And we are up here right now. Now, we are extremely high based on the daily above this. So I wouldn't recommend going long again. Okay? Today being Wednesday, unless we get maybe in the next 24 minutes or 25 minutes, this candle to close, and then the next candle will close above it. Then you have a green light to look for longs on gold again. Right? If you don't get that, don't do anything because we have a down candle here. We have 1, 2, 3 up candles. This could wipe all of that away. Okay, so that will be a sell pattern. Hence, just be mindful. Don't go long yet. I don't trust it because we are above a high. Anytime you're above a high, not just any random high, it's a 3-month high, a monthly high, it's a weekly high, all the highs. Okay, I think it's a yearly high as well because that's 2026. I'm sorry, 2024 high. How did I come about 2026? Anyway, that's 2024 high. Okay, so a run above it, there's a lot of liquidity that might be above it. Wait for this down candle to close, let them go back above it, because if it's going to continue going up, it will. And then you can use that down candle as your support, and then you can look for a continuation to the upside. In terms of targeting, we can do the projection. So this low or that high to this low projected to the upside will bring you 127. So I'm not surprised that they are pausing in there. And then 168 will come in at, yeah, that's 2946.38. That will be where I will look for. I will not look for 2 yet, because yeah, that'll be too much, because this is on a weekly chart. Okay, so the 168, 1.618, which comes in at 2946.30. That'll be the ideal level to aim for, right? And for them to get there, you want the down candle currently printing on the H4, them to close back above it, and then you can start looking for lows. I think it'll be similar to the futures market. Let's do the projection. So that will come in at 2959.0 level. Okay. And in terms of entry, you can use the same down candle, let them go above it. You can start looking for longs. On the daily, we have a down candle here, so that's good. At least we have a protection. And the fact that they took out this low, Monday taking out Friday's low, perfect. That's the low of the week. So maybe just a pullback, then a continuation, or a down candle will form, and then they'll close back above it, and then look for the continuation. Crude oil, this is still hanging in there. It's not giving the pattern yet, so we are still currently waiting. And we're still at OTE, so patience. Once we get a green light, then we can start looking for the longs. Until then, we are just observing and watching. ES, so ES, I think yesterday I said we're still gonna continue going up. I had some nice levels that I've marked out, expecting them to be traced to for a continuation, and it seems they went for the last one. I positioned myself since yesterday, so I don't have to get any other entry. So I'm expecting it to continue going up during this session. Be patient, let them expand up. Or if you want to get in, you might as well get in now, and then, but it's not safe because we are in, I think at 2 p.m. there's always some form of manipulation, right? So they might manipulate one more time, take out this loan and reject. Where we are now, it's not safe to get in, right? So it's either at 2 a.m. they'll manipulate 2 p.m. my time, they'll manipulate it down, reject and go higher, or wait, let this H4 candle close above this high, which is in the next hour and 20 minutes. If they can, then you have another protection. The first protection is here, then we might have another protection because you've missed the actual entry, right? So you might as well wait for another protection. If this candle is low, and you can start looking for the longs to continue going up. Let's go over to the crypto market. Let's start from the bottom and then we work ourselves back up. Okay, so Ripple. To be honest, I don't like the price action that I'm currently seeing. It's not the best. And when price gets into this kind of price action, it can be very, very, I'll say, difficult to read because it's not printing the stuff that I need to see on this particular time frame. I love using the daily because that's the best time frame to be on all the time. Currently, it's not printing the type of candles that I would like to see, where we have an up and then a down. That's not good. It's either we have an up, up, or down, down. When you have up like this with the down, it's not encouraging. So I'll have to switch on the high time frame. And when I switch, it means we will have to be a little bit more patient, because now we will need more data to come onto the charts for the chart to make sense, right? And that's a skill that you need to acquire. When price is not making sense on one time frame, you need to switch time frame. And the higher you switch, the more patience you're gonna need, because on the lower time frame, it's not giving you what you need to see. So you need to see something on the high time frame. And because it's a high time frame, definitely it's gonna require more time, or it's gonna require more data. Okay. So based on the weekly chart, we will need this week to close above this high. Because on the daily, currently, it's not making sense. If I use the way I look at price, it's not making sense. Because we have a big rejection from this low, meaning it doesn't need to go down anymore. But then it did not follow through with an up candle. That's what should have done. So as either today will go and close above yesterday's high, or we sit on our hands and wait for the week to end, so that we can have a strong conviction that this was all a run on stop, which I think it is, but price needs to show us as usual. We don't assume, we always wait. So we need price to confirm to us that this was all a run by closing above previous big low. On the monthly, they've run for two lows into a gap. So in my opinion, we might go higher, or by the time this week will close, it will stay like this, but we will not expand up yet, because the accumulation might be taking place on the monthly chart, right? Because as price moves up and down, there needs to be an accumulation at some point. And on a higher time frame, it can come in after 3 candles. So we have this 1, 2, 3. So we can have an accumulation, and then we'll resume going up again, creating 2 or 3 more up candles, and then another accumulation. So we can have an accumulation here and then expect another expansion. If that's the case, we'll have to chill for the month of February, and then towards the end of the month of February, we'll start looking for confirmations that we'll be expanding for the month of March. Okay, so it's going to require a bit of patience. Sit on your hands. Okay, if you've had enough. If you're a long-term holder, obviously this does not apply to you. If you are short-term to swing trade, then yes, wait for some time. Let us get a bit of confirmation, and then you can start looking for longs to continue going up. Hype. So hype has traded back into the range high. So where we are now, I would say wait for a sell pattern to form, and then you look for a potential rejection. Okay. And then if you come back down here, you're gonna start looking for the buy, unless we break away from the consolidation, which I think it will break to the upside. Okay, because we retraced, all of this was a retracement, and it's been consolidating for a while. So the break will be to the upside, but when, we don't know. So it's either it's gonna reject and come back down in here, or they will break through it, or it's gonna stay in there. It's not a good thing to assume. Okay, so wait for sell pattern to form, then you can sell, or sit on your hands, don't do anything. Okay. Right. Hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. Ethereum, same thing. I don't like it. similar to Ripple. This low is still there, right? I'm not saying they're gonna come for it, but I just don't trust it. So leave Ethereum alone. I'll probably, if not because of uh, lots of people interested in it, I will not look at it, to be honest. This will not be. If this was a currency that I trade, this would be out right now. I'll not even bother spending time on it because of this low. I'll come back maybe in future, whether we are up here and then we have a confirmation we're going higher, or we've come for this low, then I'll be interested in looking for the lows. If not, then I will not actually waste my time looking at it. Bitcoin. So let's go back to that same, I think it will be the monthly chart. It makes sense on the monthly. We might be having another accumulation in here, right? A month high is taken, a month low is taken, right? That gives us a range, and that's what I've shaded over here. So we might be consolidating, which is basically accumulating for some time, and then price will expand up. So we can have this month staying as it is, or we can go all the way up to this candle's low, and then we reject, and then we stay inside this range that I've shaded. Then ultimately, either next month, or it can take up to April, because that's when we open a new 3 months candle. And then we will expand up again, because this current 3 months candle might not be an expansion. It might just be price rejecting and it's staying as an up candle. And then the following month, expand up again. Okay, so this will be a form of accumulation on the 3 months. When it's happening, it's very painful, but ultimately, price goes up again. If you understand what's happening, you don't sweat, you just wait, because you understand what's happening. Same thing happened here, 1 month. So we started here, we expand, we accumulate, we expand, accumulate, expand, right? So we might have maybe one more big push, because they've had 1, 2. We might have one more big push, and then I don't know, pullback might happen because you're trading above this side. One more big push, one down, 3 up, and then maybe a pullback. So this week, if you want to trade, don't expect too much in terms of higher prices. This is the only level, 103, 103.3 or 103,340. That's the only upside objective that you want to aim for. Don't aim higher, because I don't think you will go higher than that, because we have a change in the state of delivery on the weekly time frame. So you're not going to be expecting higher prices. It's not going to happen. It can happen, right? Don't get me wrong. But if it does, then definitely if we resume going up, then it's all free show. You're going to be expecting big range candles. But for now, keep your hopes up to this level, and then we patiently wait. Because if it's going to go higher, they will break it, then we can look for the longs. Until then, just be on the caution side. Trade to that level and then wait. That'll be the best thing to do. And then let's look at Solana. Let's move to the monthly, because again, this time frame is just crazy. For the last 1 week or 2 weeks, they've been doing some dodgy stuff. Okay, so on the monthly chart, there's a reason why price couldn't go lower. That's a lower low with a gap. So price will respect the gap and then reject. So it might come back up, but then again, because they took out a previous month high, that's a range. So that's how you identify a range. When a high is taken and a low is taken, price stays in the range. Okay, there you go. I've given you one hint how to identify a range. When a high is taken and a low is taken, you are in a range because it's not meant to do that. So they've killed both sides of the market. Hence, going forward, price can stay inside that high and that low. And then you sit on your hands until they break away from one of them. Either they're going to break lower or they're going to break higher. But you can identify where it's going to break based on where price has been going prior to that. So if price has been going up, then there's a high probability they'll break to the upside. So when it's dropping down, you want to buy in the lower quadrant and then hold. Because anytime it comes down, there's a high probability when it's going up, it will break the high. I think a typical example would be if we go back to crude oil. Let me see if I can find crude oil. I'm sorry, not crude oil. This one. When this high, this low, sorry, this high, this low. That was the initial range. Took out this high and took out this low. That creates a range. So anytime it comes down, okay, then you buy the lower quadrant. You buy when it's coming down because prior to that, price has been going up. So there's a high probability they'll be breaking the high rather than the low. And then you can see that big push that happened here. Okay. So Solana, I think they will break the high. So buying where we are as a holder, it will be a good thing, right? Because we ultimately we expect them to go and break the high. For today, in terms of if you want to day trade, let me go to the daily and see what I can find. Yeah, so in terms of day trade, maybe a run below previous day's low and then a rejection, that'll be a good thing. That low comes in at 2202.16. If they can run that right here, if they can run that, and then you can look for a rejection. I like that clinical high up there, very clean. Okay, so a run below that low, quick rejection, and then aim for that high. AI 16. So AI 16, I think yesterday I said something about this down candle that it needed to be like an up candle. This down candle should have been up so that we can get confidence that we're going higher. The fact that we didn't have it means we have to switch time frame. So again, this week we need it to reject this low. Now we are very, very low. That, if you're a holder, if you're someone that likes to buy and hold, I don't think you get any cheaper. I don't think this project is going to zero. That is guaranteed. It's not going to zero because I did find out from my colleague, Mr. Igor, about what AI 16 is. And based on that understanding of what it is, I don't think it's going to zero. And the range high to the range low, we are extremely low. Buying at 2.5 versus buying at 42 cents, that's a huge difference. Okay, and if it is what I think it's supposed to be, then if you are an investor, if you are, those traders that just buy, because with cryptos, it's not like currencies where you buy, get out. You basically can't hold on to it because it's similar to stocks. This is the time to be in it. Okay. It might not go up straight away, but that's not your aim. You're not buying right now and expecting it to go to the moon tomorrow. But eventually it will. And where we are now, it's a very, 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 very cheap price to be in. Okay. So even though we don't have the confirmation yet, I think where we are now, it's the best to be in because it's 88.8. That's the lowest price can go inside a range. Because if it goes beyond 88.8, then definitely in a downtrend or in a chart where we have lots of data, because this one we don't, in a chart where we have a lot of data, price will be going lower. If we go below this, in a chart where we have lots of data, let's say this is the last range, and we measure it, and this is 88.8, and they can go below that, then price will be going lower. Right? Since we don't have enough data, and like I said, the project looks, in my opinion, very excited for the future, we can't go lower than that 88.8. Okay, so there you go. I've given you enough reason to be in. Right? Don't wait till it's up here. And I know that's what people wants to see. They want to wait till it's maybe at here, 1.6. Oh, how do I buy it? All right. That's what sometimes pisses me off. Sorry for my language, because when you're trying to tell people, and I've had this several times with people, when it's down and look good to buy, they will never approach. Even if you tell them to buy, they will never approach because it looks so scary when it's going down. Yeah, it's cheap. No, 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 it's going down. Okay, cool. Then it'll come up to, because that's what Bitcoin did. Right? When Bitcoin retraced, the last time it went down over here, over here, during that time, I had a lot of people come to me and I was like, yeah, I think it's gonna go up. It's just accumulating. No, 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 it's too dangerous. It's too. And then up here, I think it was this one, this candle. That's when these same people came. Can you show me how to buy Bitcoin? Can you show me how to buy Bitcoin? But I was telling you when it was here. Okay. And that's how the retail mindset is. They don't see when something is in discount, but they do see it when they go to the shop because it's written big and bold, discount 50%, buy cheap, or buy one, get one free. But when it's on the charts like that, they don't see it. And that's what I'm trying to tell you right now. Buy one, get one free is here. I think it's buy one, get four free. Because I don't know. Okay. Let's go to tattoo. I think I've said enough.
So,
Okay. So yesterday's candle came back down. So not exciting because I would have preferred it to go up and close through the gap. Now that will lead us to the same thing. We have to wait for the weekly to give us something because the daily has failed to give us signs that it wants to go up. If it were to go up, then this candle should go up, then next candle go up, then the daily will give us signs that we're going up. The fact that it didn't means we have to wait. Now with that, it means we are likely to come back for previous week low. So dropping down, we are likely to come back and attack this low. Then we go up and it will be better for that. Okay. Based on how the daily has printed these last three candles, 1, 2, 3, it will be better for this. Had this candle, the yesterday candle closed bullish, then it would be the wrong idea for price to come back for this low. Okay, because then that will bring two up candles and then a continuation to the downside. Something like this. Two up candles and then a continuation to the downside. Okay, so it's a good thing for price to come back to attack this low, and then because below highs and lows, that's where liquidity is going to be. The higher the better. So weekly low, lots of liquidity. There'll be people that have their stop losses here right now. You might not see it, but it is there. and it'll be better for them to be knocked out, and then we start going up again. So watch that 0.00543 level. We want to see a run below that and then a rejection. Then we can go up, because on the weekly, it will give us at least. And also, if you go below it, we don't want them to close below it. Let me say that one too. We don't want them to close below it, because closing below it will not be a good thing. Okay? So we want them to go below it and then reject and close back above, so we can start aiming for the previous week's highs, right? So that is that for Tatsuo. I think my time is up. So I leave the rest,
Awesome.
Mr. Igor.
IT, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Uh, yeah, let's touch base a little later on. If anything, we'll shut it down for now, and yeah, we'll keep going as planned.
Okay, cool, perfect.
Uh,
I have a
awesome.
few people to contact. So
What's that?
I said I have a few people I need to contact.
Okay, cool. Nice, nice. Make contact with the ETs.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Uh,
brother.
all right. I have one. He's right here with me directly.
Yeah,
He's giving me all the tips.
yeah, nice.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Take care.